Hey, I want to thank you guys for being on, and I want to thank Nina for setting up the testimonial Zoom that just occurred. And with Sharon Gale, it's the most phenomenal story. I've heard a lot of stories of sick and health experiences. I mean, it's a phenomenal story, what she's gone through. I mean, if it weren't for Shackley, Sharon would not be alive today. There's no two ways about it. I mean, it's just an incredible story. Incredible. And I just think it's so interesting talking about how much protein you were consuming at times of like total of probably at least 200 grams of protein a day. Probably even more than that, probably 250 grams of Shackley protein a day. So that was every 4 hours. So we're talking about, well, 15 or more scoops throughout the day, probably 20 scoops of Shackley protein a day. So it's a phenomenal story. So what Nina and Sharon have agreed to do is to do this talk over again just with Sharon. It will then be on YouTube, and I've made the decision that I am going to then send this link out to every customer, every director in the group, because it's got to make an incredible impact. I don't know how some of the others that were on that Zoom and listened to it firsthand, but it's got to make an incredible impact. The safety of the products, the value of the products, and it's okay to take a lot of Shackley. That message came across, and what it can do in the recovery. My gosh, it's just incredible. So that is something that they're going to do very soon, and I'll let everybody know, but I'm going to get it out, let everybody know about the link, because I tell you, if I can get a number of people in the personal group listening to this, it will probably double the volume. I mean, people are going to wake up. They are going to wake up and realize that what we have. So once again, thank you guys for doing that. That was very good. Another comment I'd like to make relating to the meeting on the 21st, you will be getting the password for those of you who've already registered for it. And
the 21st or the 23rd?
The 23rd, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And what you're going to get very soon is the agenda, but basically how it's going to work is that Richard will talk for a while, and then you'll go into a Zoom, and the Zoom we're going to set up for a group is the one you're on right now, this number. And that will include Laura Evans, many of her people, Marty and Cheryl Turner will be on, and myself. And so we will be discussing, or everybody will be discussing and giving input as to what they have learned on that Zoom and things that they're thinking of. It's going to be very creative. So then we'll go back to Richard again and hear what he has to say. So you'll have time to do other things. You'll have time to listen to the Zoom while you're maybe getting some food or a snack or something like this. So it's not just a continuous thing with Richard for a number of hours. So you'll be getting, like I said, a password very soon, but just letting you know that all of you can come into the Zoom, this number, when we have the break time or when we break away from what Richard has talked about, and we will discuss it further. So what I'd like to comment on and get your input is many people are looking at, how do I get to new people? How do I get to the people through the people that I already know? I believe the focus has become so much to get the information out there, sell products, and get distributors, that as I have told Heather and so on, we are missing one of our greatest assets in Shackley, and that's the Shackley customer. In the past, when we got people on Shackley products, because of the way we did it, then they were telling everybody else about it because they weren't trying to sell. People say, are you selling Shackley? And they say, no, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But now the approach has been for many years, and that is talk to them about Shackley, try to educate them, try to get them on some products. And we may come across a little too much as sales. And so they're not going to tell other people about it. So here's some things that are very, very valuable in getting to other people. Instead of trying to give them the Shackley presentation to go over the products, getting acquainted with them, as I've said before, is the most valuable part of that presentation. Because we want to find out how long they've been in the area. And we're not going to ask these questions real hard and stiff and everything else, like, have you been living here very long? Is your family in the area? Instead, where's most of your family? Well, they're, in the area, they're out of the area. We find out where the market is. But do you see your parents very often? Oh, yeah, we get to them. But in fact, every week I got to take my dad to the doctor's office because of his arthritic problems. Really? How long has he had the problem? In other words, start exploring like a detective who these friends and relatives are, because they're all sick. That's a pretty good guarantee. And being able to ask questions and pat them on the back opens them up more to their whole family. And so we should open them up so much that they will say things like, I've got a sister with a child with ADD. Do you think it's going to help? Or I've got a parent with this high blood pressure problem. Would Shackley help? They still feel so comfortable opening it up. If we're not getting those things, those statements from people or questions, then we're doing something wrong. So going over it again, talking to somebody, it's that chit chat, not getting into Shackley. And so asking questions, how long have you lived here? What do you do? What does your husband do? And do you have many siblings? Yeah, I've got 3 brothers and one sister. One sister. Oh, wow. Are they older than you, or you're younger? No, I'm the baby in the family. And so that's really good. You guys get together very much? Oh, yeah. Every Sunday afternoon we get together at the parents' house or the grandparents' house. It starts telling you about the network of family that they have, whether it's a close family or not. And if we keep talking and patting them on the back for things that they say that are positive, such as I may ask them, so have you ever used supplements? Yeah, I used one a day. Good for you. We should be able to compliment them 10 to 15 times before we ever really get into talking about Shackley. So I have a pretty good diet. Good for you. That's really good. Yeah, I know it's really important to start off the morning with a good breakfast. Good for you. There are 3 compliments right there in a matter of 20 seconds or less. So I know I don't, probably the rest of the day isn't that good, the things that I'm eating, but I have given up soft drinks. Good for you. That is really good. What made you to decide to do that? Well, I read about it, and I just don't think it's the best thing to do. Boy, are you right on track. That is great. In a minute, you can come out with 5 or 6 compliments. It opens everybody up, because compliments is not selling. We are so far from selling. And the compliments should be more than, oh, good. That's nice. How nice. Instead, it's like, you've never heard of this before. I'll give you a story of, and this has happened so many times, but Carter gave me the name of a high school friend a number of years ago, and he said he's got irritable bowel syndrome. He said he wants to talk with you. So I talked to him and asked questions. What are you looking for? A lot of compliments. I've been trying to eat better foods and everything. Good for you. How about foods that you're sensitive to? Well, I found out that a lot of the certain foods that I really like, the high carbohydrates and so on, I don't know. I don't think they're the best for me. Boy, good thinking on your part. That's really good. A lot of compliments. And then asking questions. What do you have for breakfast? What do you do? You know about all these questions. Many of you have heard me ask those questions. And then, would you like me to tell you what I would do, of course? And I go into what I feel they're ready to handle. Not what I feel they should be taking, but what they can handle and what they should be taking, yes. But maybe I feel they should be taking a lot more of different things, but they're not ready for it. So it's, once again, one step at a time. So getting on the product and then contacting him, I don't know, about a week later. And of course, it's talking about the weather. It's talking about something else, not talking about Shackley. But then asking, well, I really appreciate talking to you the other day. That was great. So do you have any questions about anything? Not about Shackley, but about anything. And his comment was, well, I feel I'm doing a little better. I said, fantastic. You're doing better already? I could have just said, well, that's good. But instead, that is fantastic. You're feeling better already. What do you mean? I mean, in what way? I mean, this is a discovery for me, like I have never heard it before. And his response was, well, I mean, I just don't have to go to the bathroom as often as I did before. My goodness, you mean in a week you've noticed a difference? Yeah, I noticed it actually in about 24 hours. You're kidding me. In 24 hours you noticed a difference? Oh, yeah. Now he's getting stronger because I'm not saying, well, you ought to sell the stuff. He's getting stronger and he's communicating more, and I have more things to compliment him on. And he says, you know, now when I go out of the house, drive down the highway, instead of looking to see every service station I'm passing in case I have to go to the bathroom, he says, it's a world of difference. Oh my gosh, good for you. That must be an incredible feeling you have. Oh yeah, that's really, oh my God. I mean, I'm elated about it. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that in this short a period of time that I'm getting such great results, but oh my, it's really, really good. Oh my gosh. That's so good to hear. Good for you. Good for you. Glad you're getting the results. He said, yeah, I told my parents about it. What? You told your parents? What do they say? They're really happy for that. Is fantastic. You told your parents. Yeah, my parents are interested in trying the product. Oh my gosh. Really? Yeah. So it ends up that the parents have an in-home presentation because at this point, this kid is saying, well, I think maybe I want to make an income. Oh my gosh. Really? Good for you. I probably put out 30 compliments at least before we were through talking. And it ended up, his parents had an in-home, and it ended up that he became a sales leader. We have been indoctrinated to think that I've got to give all this information and razzle-dazzle people with the trips and the cars and so on. Maybe some people are going to be all excited about it. Maybe. But it has to be one step at a time. And to me, that opens the door to other people. And most people are not getting new customers, second and third and fourth level customers. Somebody, if they would mute, okay. We're missing a huge market. A huge market because we're trying to find another customer that we can get them into the vitalizer strip and the protein and everything else, and then find another customer. And perhaps if we got them on protein Vital E and the DI, the probiotic, then one step at a time. I'm looking to see if Joyce Altman is on. I don't see that she is on, but she was talking to me today about how She gave a 6-day samples of protein and some, I don't know, vitalizer strip or some few vitamins to the neighbor. I don't know how it came up. I was going to ask her, how did it come up? She talked to him and he decided to use it. But he's now used it for 6 days and he cannot believe how much better he's feeling. He wants to get the product. One step at a time instead of trying to take 5 steps right now. And the same thing is true with the business. Let it happen. But I am determined, especially with this video that I talked about that Sharon is going to be doing, I'm going to get a lot of activity going in the personal group. And I'm going to perhaps send out videos every month, once a month. I mean, work with the market that we have. And I know it's going to open a lot of doors. I just know it. The feeling I have about it, I just know it's right. When you get that feeling, it's right. Our customers are so important. And therefore, we should be building under our customers. And rather than trying to find a distributor, and most of them don't do anything, but most of you that are listening right now came in because you like the product and you decided to tell other people about it and maybe make an income. And the fastest way to get depth is not through distributors. You get a distributor in, 70% of them don't do anything. They never bring one person in because they're embarrassed. They don't know what to say about the business. And so therefore, distributors do not get depth. It's customers that will get depth. And we're not getting the depth with the customers because we may be too quick in trying to give them the book. And they're not ready. If we don't get depth, we don't have anything. We're not going to have volume. We're not going to have people saying they want to build a business. We've got to get depth. So therefore, in talking to people, I want to find out about the people they know, their next of kin, their parents, with parents, you know, we start talking about the parents and the brothers and sisters. They will point out that, yeah, you know, I was supposed to get together with my sister this weekend, but she's got another sinus headache. They just say these things. And so many people are focused so hard on trying to get that one person indoctrinated into shackling and educated, they miss the opportunity of getting depth. Could I get some amens or comments on this? Because this is something that I'm really, really going to keep talking about. People are not getting depth in their business because they're not communicating very well and getting people to talk. So I believe you can just unmute yourself. If not, then I will unmute you. Go ahead. Who wants to talk about this?
You know, I always want to talk about this.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
We did an event in December, and for a first level, and followed up with.
This is a customer?
This is a customer.
Okay.
Customer. And followed up with someone that had said, yeah, I want to get together in January and look at some weight management. And we got together with her and did the cleanse and the 180 and just, you know, things went well. She's doing great. And two things have happened. One is she was losing some weight and looking good and started talking to her aunt. And then her aunt calls us and said, you know, I want to do what Jenny's doing. And of course, we pay our own bonuses and we pay our members also. And so Jenny's been getting a little referral. Well, the aunt gets on the program. And guess who calls last week? Another aunt. And they're all members. We've never talked distributor or anything else. The other thing we've been doing, and we did with Jenny, is and it's got to be the right person, but we use the gift fulfillment. When we see somebody and we know, just have that gut feeling that, you know, if we introduce a product to them, they're gonna grab on. And so we've done that with them. And we do a gift fulfillment, and guess what they start doing the next month? Ordering the product that they got for free. And then all of a sudden, Jenny, who is 3rd level, aunt 4th level, other aunt 5th level, you know, it's their bonus. Jenny's bonus check is going to be something that she looked at and she said, you know, I need to talk to my husband about this because he's really worried about retirement. He wants to retire in 5 years, and he's a vice president for a major company, but he doesn't know how he's going to be able to do that, and we need to talk about this. So yeah, very organically.
Wow.
Organically.
That's a good way to describe it. Organically, a natural way, a process. And, you know, I know we want to tell people the whole story, but there's a time to tell the whole story. There's a time to do it. I mean, Marion is shaking her head, but, you know, the first meeting I did at Marion's place, don't talk about the business to anybody. that was a real demand. Joyce, I think I unmuted your phone. So would you care to tell how you introduced this to the neighbor?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The neighbor keeps talking with us all the time on how much he hurts all the time. He has fibromyalgia, he's a diabetic, but he's not willing to really change his lifestyle. He loves his 2 liters of Coke every day. So it was kind of hard to approach him. Kept seeing his post on Facebook. Finally, he saw one of my posts that I had shared on a business page through the Lake City Chamber of Commerce, and he commented on it. So I just made a nice comment back of thanks for the support, Rob. Appreciate that. If you want to talk, give me a call. He called within 5 minutes. He said, okay, what are you doing that I need to do? He said,
wow.
Well, first we needed to sit down and talk, and went and talked with him. He stopped to drink. He and his wife both stopped drinking their Coca-Cola of the 2 liters every day each on Saturday. By Sunday night, he's calling me saying they want to kill each other. And he was finally willing to try the light strip. He's on it day 3 now with the protein for the last week. And he feels like he's a whole different person.
Wow.
I just said, would you like to try a few samples?
So what do you think,
tomorrow,
other than the fact that he was miserable, that he felt okay in saying he wanted to talk to you? I think part of it was because you did not pressure him in any way. You just said
I did not pressure him. And over the time, he's lived up here for about a year, and over the time he kept saying, I don't understand how you can stay home and not be out working. And
wow.
You know, you have your sign at your driveway. I just don't understand how you don't have a real job. And he's recently retired.
Oh,
so he's kind of doing little hints here and there, but not anything direct. And because he is very vocal, I've been very cautious on what I say to him.
What did you say when he said, you know, I don't understand what you do. You don't have a real job. What did you say?
I don't remember exact words, but I said, I can do my business from anywhere. Because at the time when he said it, I had been doing a lot of being with my girlfriend at the nursing home and the hospital and taking care of her and her family. And he would see the packages show up on the porch, but I was hardly ever around. And I said, I can do it from anywhere.
Wow, wow, wow. I think that conversation that you had leading up to this where he tried it is something you probably really want to go over in your mind, because you obviously did a great job of it. There was no pressure. And
no pressure.
You did not try to give him a lot of information. And I want to compliment you, Joyce, on making some major changes because probably in the past you probably would have gave them a lot of information. Is that true?
Yes, way too much. It has been a complete change on how I used to do it.
Well, you've learned a lot. You learned very well to keep it simple.
I've learned to ask a lot more questions and keep deferring back to them and their questions. Sometimes I don't even answer their question. I just say, well, that reminds me, I have another question for you. Do you mind if I ask you a question first? And I never get back to answering their question.
And how are you doing on complimenting people? We've talked about that.
Well, that's it. I keep trying. Yes. I work on the complimenting them more. And like you and I have talked about, of just don't directly answer the question right away. Keep getting more questions so you get a bigger picture of what are they getting at.
Wow. So that must feel pretty good that you did that, you're getting the results that you're getting. Does that expand your thinking at all about possibilities now?
Yes. It opened my eyes to look at things completely different and realizing how many mistakes I've made all these years.
Mm-hmm. Well, those mistakes are learning steps, so that's good.
I've been a slow learner.
Well, the main thing is that you've learned. You've come a long ways, baby. You really have. That's what's so good about it. I just feel so good when people make those positive changes. Excellent, excellent. Who else has some comments on building in depth and with customers? I can't do it with distributors. I cannot do it with distributors. Maybe I could learn how to do it with distributors, but they are not open to learning like a customer is. And I think it's all because a distributor thinks they have to know stuff, they have to be able to sell. They have to be able to move products. They have to be able to find other people who can do this business. And therefore, they just don't have the same attitude of openness to learn like a customer does. And so I don't know about you, but I can find incredible better results with the customer. Now, once a person really, really wants to do Shackley, they have not been sold on the idea of doing the business, then certainly I can work with them because they seemingly are more open. It's their idea. They're more relaxed at it. But in the beginning, to get things moving, it's customers. Building in depth. And as you've heard me say before, Marion Weimer, First Level Master Coordinators, was sponsored, I think, 5 or 6 levels down of customers. And those are the people who respond and listen much better because you're such a stranger to them. It's those friends and relatives who don't want to listen many times. Other comments, please, or questions? Yes.
Roland, I came in like 5th or 6th, whatever it was. And then Kathy Elliman is a first level master to me. And down that line, it's got to be 7 or 8 levels at least of directors. But it's been built, you know, on one-on-one all the way down on that, you know, for depth. And I'm not even sure how deep it is now. I've kind of forgotten, but and I haven't checked it out lately. But you know, that's how great this business is. I mean, you know, if we listen to what they're saying to us, and we've known not to buttonhole them and get into the business. You know, I was never comfortable with that, ever. You know, just diving into that. Now, I've done a lot of my business with skincare, and with doing that, I might be at the chiropractor's office, and I might say to the gal that's there at the desk, something about. She usually makes a comment on my skin, and then I say, "Oh, really? Well, thank you." And then we'll converse a little bit, but then we'll do lunch. I'll ask her if she'd like to go to lunch someday, and then I get an appointment with a skincare after that, and then we move on down below her, and she has a couple, 3 people in, and then somebody from there. And this is how I've worked a lot, through my business, so I don't know if that helps anybody, but I'm not super good at, well, I am good at it, but I don't approach you usually with the nutrition, because they don't say anything to me about nutrition, but they'll say something about my skin, or what they're using for cleaners or something like that. I have a pink coat that I've had for 10 years, and that coat looks like new to this day. I get so many compliments on that coat, and they say, one person has asked me, "Well, what do you wash that stuff in?" And I said, "Well, I've used Shackley on for a long time, and I love the way my clothes look after that." Then that kind of leads into something. So anyhow, but that's just a couple comments. And then sometimes will ask about nutrition, but I kind of like Madeline Trottier used to like to get them into the 2 lines of skincare and cleaners, and then get them into nutrition, because that's exactly what happened to me. I used the skincare for 2 years before I would listen to anybody about nutrition, protein and Vital E. I had headaches. I felt horrible. I was sick all the time, all that stuff. But I had the good feeling about the skincare. And when I had the good feeling about the skincare, then that is what brought us around Protein, Vital E, and Herbalife. I can't hear you. You're muted.
That's such a great point, because we've got some great products that are such introductory products to Shackley. Cleaning products, people are not generally, discussing whether the cleaning products are safe or anything else. They're more likely to use them. And of course, the skincare as well. In fact, the skincare could be bad for your skin, and they still want to use it if they think it's going to make them look better. And so it's great door openers. And if they believe in the skincare, they believe in the cleaning products, and they're more likely to say, "Hey, let me try the supplements." It's a great door opener. I think of Rick and Aldana Seymour, master coordinators, got started with the cleaning products because they're very concerned about taking care of the environment. And Pat and Don Sameka, they got started with skincare. Many of them, many master coordinators got started with either cleaning products, skincare. Skincare was probably the biggest in opening up the door. And so this is why having a little bit on hand, letting people try it. Sharon, you got a great story you were telling me the other day. Want to relate that story? That's good. That's a good story.
So I do hair. I'm a hairstylist by trade. So I have a little business of hair. So a client wanted to come by, and I have Shackley boxes everywhere. And so she's sitting in the chair, and she's looking at the boxes, and she goes, "Shackley? Where have I seen that before?" And normally they pronounce it Shackley, Shockley. So you knew she knew what she was talking about. I went, oh, have you heard of Shackley? She goes, yeah, that's the stuff my mom would put in a spray bottle and say, go clean your room. 2 drops and go clean your room. So she knew what she was talking about. I also have the skincare, the youth on a table, and I have catalogs there. So she picked up a catalog and she flipped through it and she's like, oh, I am taking 5 vitamins to this one. So I'm like, oh, really? That's interesting. And I shut up. And then I started talking, and then Roland's voice is in my head, shut up, you're talking too much. So I just shut up and let her talk. And she's like, oh my gosh, the basic H. Oh my gosh, this. Oh my gosh, that. And then I have a sample of the baby oil. And I go, would you like to try it? She said, sure. So she put the baby oil in her hand and she rubbed it on her forearms. Now she has tattoos on her forearms. She was amazed on how the tattoo just popped out. She's like, oh my gosh, look at the tattoo. It looks brand new. So she was excited about that. Then while her hair is processing, I showed her the mascara and she's putting on the mascara and her in the mirror and she's like this, wow, this is gorgeous. So that was fun. Then when her hair was finished, I go, would you like to try half your face? Let's do half your face. She says, sure, why not? So then we did half her face and I've never seen someone admire their face so much in the mirror after their skincare. She's rubbing her face. This looks really good. And so I really had fun with that. And I didn't really do much talking. She did most of the talking. She convinced herself on the products because it was products that her parents were using. She was convinced the fact that the vitamins, the price point of the vitamins were equal because she's using 5 vitamins to 1 bottle of Vital E. So the price point was good for her. So she didn't complain about that, where a lot of people do complain about the prices. And she was just amazed. And then she's like, oh, my daughter's going to love this. Oh, my daughter's going to like that. So in the conversation-wise, she was also telling me who she was going to explore the products with. So.
I hope you heard everything that Sharon said. Little key things, kept her mouth shut most of the time. She let this person discover Shackley. That is so powerful. I call it the art of discovery. Because there's such a tendency when somebody says, boy, this is really, really good. Yeah, if you got some friends together, I could show them the rest of the skincare too. I mean, we just jumped the gun on it instead of waiting for, like Steve said, the organic process to work. And letting her discover these things, and you were not selling her at all. Otherwise, she would not have mentioned about other people that she's going to let them try it or hear about it. I mean, that's a customer finding business for you. I mean, how easy is that and difficult it is, because most people can't keep their mouth shut. The people who are promoting Shackley cannot keep their mouth shut. And they say too much. And so if we would just pat on the back and ask questions, they'll do it. Go ahead, Sharon.
The one thing too, Roland, that I noticed, she didn't ask for, well, is there zinc in this? How is it made? What's in the ingredients and the technical? It's all in the catalog. She can take it home and read it. I'm not gonna get involved in that. So, and I think she appreciated that, because just by her exploring the products, you could see that she was, oh, I like this.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions for Sharon or questions for Joyce? Because you have heard some great steps in moving ahead with Shackley through customers, getting customers. This is, to me, this is valuable, valuable stuff to understand. Any comments on this? Andrea, do you have any questions? You can, there you go.
I got it. No questions. I think it's amazing. And I've had a little bit of a similar situation recently. I had a downline who had a member, and I think she was only using the cleaning products. And then I sent her about a year ago, I think, one of those little cards, happy birthday, I have a little gift for you, just contact me for delivery. And I had never talked to her before because she was my downline's member. And she called me and she said, oh, I got your little card in the mail and I'm so excited. And we started talking. Actually, it was a little bit longer because she then started, as we just talked, she said, oh, does Shackley also have skincare? And we still had Infocell. And I said, yes, we have skincare. It's really, really good. So she started on Infocell and used that for a little while until Youth came out. Then she started on Youth, and just talking to her, we became friends over the products. She was so amazed with her products. And then she invited me a week ago to a little dinner party. First time I ever had been to her house, and of course I went. And there were some other ladies there, and she could not stop talking about Youth. The whole night it was just like, oh, and you all should see Andrea. She's having these amazing skincare products, and they are so great. Look at my face. So she just could not stop. And at the end of the night, the other ladies were all like, oh, can you send me your link? And I talked to her afterwards, and I said, you know, I don't want to send them the link. It wouldn't be doing them a service. So she arranged now an in-home, and she's already invited her friends who were at the dinner party, and they already said they were going to come. So it just was so invaluable having her talk the whole time how much she loved it. And then when people were interested, she's like, oh, and they have cleaners too, and they are really great too. So it was just really, really a good feeling to hear somebody so excited about the products.
Thank you, Andrea. And like I said, there's been some valuable things that have been said, and not just what's been said, but how they've been said. Now, this person who's saying, hey, they got valuable cleaning products, the skincare is great, a distributor could never say that. Because once people know that that distributor is selling, they kind of back off. And the distributor just wouldn't come across with that freedom like a customer will. So I don't know if you're hearing this, hearing the value of customers getting other customers. And this is what we are missing all over the place. Any other comments on this or questions? Because this is a valuable, valuable bit of information here that we've gotten from a number of people with examples.
I just wanted to chime in. Hi, this is Maxie. I have a similar experience. I have a member who's been a longtime friend of mine, and he was at some point looking at the business, and I talked to him about the business. I did everything wrong. This was before I took coaching from you, Roland. I didn't know better. And it just didn't go anywhere. So I was getting frustrated. I don't know how he was feeling, but I just know I was getting frustrated. So I just dropped it. I let it go, didn't talk to him about it anymore. And every once in a while I check in with him, he'd check in with me. And like last week, he said, yeah, so I talked to the gym that I work at, and they would like a cleaning demo. I've been trying to get to this gym for the longest period of time to see if they'd be interested in using the products themselves, et cetera, et cetera. And so now I have a meeting on Thursday with them. So I guess even if you just let go of people and just kind of, you know, take a step back, that can also be very powerful.
Very good, Maxie. Thank you for that. And were you trying to get food supplements into this gym? or cleaning products initially?
Cleaning products.
Okay.
It was a gymnastics center.
Uh-huh.
Originally, I was also looking at nutritional supplements, but I knew that they primarily were also looking at cutting down costs with cleaning supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed like a very simple and easy way to introduce them to Shackley.
Mm-hmm.
And but that didn't work at that time. So now through my friend, I have a meeting on Thursday.
Tremendous, tremendous. Good for you. Well, you know, the cleaning products are an incredible door opener. I remember somebody at one time in my group who got out 3 cleaning caddies a week and picked them up. And I believe in 2 months they were at 3,000 volume because it opened up the door to everything else. And they just had a good system, getting them out, leaving them a couple of days. And they did not put any pressure on. It's not, you know, we got some other products too and stuff like this. Just, hey, thanks for using it. And people said, yeah, I really like it. Can I get these? And do you have a catalog? I mean, it just opened up the door. 3,000 volume, and I think it took about 2 months. And when you think about it, that's 3 people getting to try the products every month. That's 12 people a month. Most people are not introducing Shackley in any way to 12 people a month. And most people are not getting 12 people a month anywhere near that, maybe 1 to try the products in a month. 1. Do you know the number of people sponsored per director in the United States is about 1.5 per month? And E. Robarts, who was on about a week ago, sponsored 7 people in 1 week. But it was within home presentations. That opens the door. So numbers do talk, but especially if we're going at it without any pressure and letting people try the products. Most of the time, if you go into a shoe store, you're going to try the shoes before you buy them. And it's a little difficult to get people to try the supplements. I know Joyce did a good job of that with the neighbor, but the cleaning products are not offensive. They're not going to ask what's in it. They're not going to ask, does it have any chemicals in it? They're going to try them. And of course, the other thing is it's going to save them money. And of course, the skincare, well, many people will drive 50 miles if there's something that's going to make the skin look better, let's face it. So they're both great, great, great door openers. And we have been missing the skincare as a door opener for probably 15 years now, because the focus has been talk to people, get them into the protein and the vitalizer strip and so on. That has been the focus. And skincare is a door opener that we've missed. In fact, Joyce Hoffman has said that for every $100 worth of skincare that is purchased, it'll turn into $600 of other products. Because they talk to other people. Many times at a skincare, if you just take a couple of minutes talking about the food supplements, giving more energy and looking better, I always talk about the protein, what it does for your skin. In fact, I can tell going into a room of Shackley people roughly how much protein they're taking by looking at their skin. I can make a pretty good educated guess. So talking about that at a skincare, many times you will sell more supplements than you will skincare, because people say, boy, I'm really tired. That's the first thing I have to get started with. I know Candy Weaver, who had a great business in Shackley, got started with a skincare, but said, we're going to buy supplements because we got to get healthy. So it generates a lot of other products just by letting people use the skincare. So make certain you have it available for people to try when you leave the house. Well, I want to thank all of you for being on. To me, this was a great, great Zoom, helping to understand the importance of, number one, building in depth. You're going to build in depth a lot easier with customers than you can with distributors. Let the customers bring the business in for you. Distributors will not very much. It's customers that get new people, And when there's a little bit of volume, they start thinking, just as Joyce's neighbor, I bet he's thinking right now, well, maybe I could do this. I'm retired. Gee, Joyce is at home a lot. She's not out with a job. Maybe I could do it. The guy is definitely thinking that direction. So thank you for contributing. And we're looking forward to the Zoom that we're going to have with Sharon. It's going to be phenomenal. Like I said, what I'm going to do is get it out to everybody, or the link that they can get into it. I mean, it's going to change things dramatically in your business. I believe it really, it will. So thank you for being on, and we'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Roland.
You bet. Bye-bye.